Hello everyone, this is Tina with Tina's Workshop, and today I am going to show you how to crochet a granny square, and this is not your grandmother's granny square. I learned to crochet a granny square when I was I started crocheting at 8, so somewhere I'd say between 8 and 10 I was crocheting granny squares, and it was very specific. This is how you do a granny square, no ifs, ands, or buts. This is it. And back then, when you would do a granny square, you would have this jog in your one side where you would go up a row, because your rows always went up on the sides here, and they would go back and forth. So whether you were doing one color, multiple colors, it didn't matter. You saw where your granny square went up. So that was issue number one. Issue number two was always having a big hole in the center of your granny square. And then, there's always the dastardly blocking of squares. So this square has not been blocked. This square is changing colors and moving up rows. I have not completely disconnected my yarn. And this square is using multiple yarns. So there's a few different tricks that I have picked up over the years, different things that I like and things that I don't like, and the ones that I've liked I've put together. And this is how my granny squares come out now, and these have not been blocked. This is my finished granny square. So I'm going to show you how to do this granny square with all my little tips and tricks. I'm also going to show you how to do a 2-color square without cutting your yarn, and I will show you how to do a single color square. And on the single color square, we are not going to do the granny stitch words. So you are going to do a straight-sided square. So I'm going to show you how to do all of these squares. Very, very simple. Once you've done it, that's just going to be automatic for you. This will be how you end up doing your squares, and you will not be sad about it. So stick with me and I will show you how to do all 3 of these squares. So we are starting off with our 3-colored square. I am just using regular worsted weight yarn I have in my stash. I chose some fall themed colors since we are going into fall. I am just using a size H. My trusty Furls crochet hooks. If you do not know about using Furls hooks yet, they make a huge difference on your hand comfort, and they are exceptionally made. Okay, so we're going to start with a magic ring or a magic loop. And if you guys have not seen my yarn bowl before, I will put a link down below to the instructions on how I make this. It's the best yarn bowl ever. Okay, so now you can start this a couple different ways. If it's easier for you to chain 3 and join your chain and work in that center, that's fine. Another way my sister-in-law actually showed me is she does a slip knot, and she works into that slip knot and then pulls it down. But I do the magic loop, so I'm actually looping it like this. So this tail is going over like this, and I hold it here. So I grab it with my fingers, so I'm holding on to both pieces, and it's literally just looped there. There's no ins or outs or anything. It's just a loop. I go into that loop and I yarn over, I pull through, and I yarn over and I pull through. So there's a chain there. Now I take that whole loop and I flip it in my hand. So I'm grabbing with the other hand the 2 strands, and now the single strand is on this side. That way I'm working over that long strand. Okay, so now we are going to chain a total of 4, And then we are going to work 3 double crochets. 1. If you don't know a double crochet, you're going to yarn over, you're going to insert your hook in the loop and yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And if you're in the UK, that's actually a treble crochet. Okay, so we've done 2 so far. We're going to do a 3rd, and then we're going to chain 1. Now we're going to do 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and chain 1. Now by working over this too, we keep this loop from pulling out too far. But if you start to feel like your loop's a little bit too big, just give your tail a little tug and make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so now we're going to do 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And a chain 1. So you should now have your initial chain loop, 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets. So 3 sets of 3. So now we are going to do 2 double crochets. This is our last set, and we're doing 2. 1, 2 double crochets. Okay, so now I tend to hold my hook here, but if that's awkward, pull your loop out a little bit, set your hook down, and you're going to grab your tail and you're going to pull your tail down tight. Now make sure you don't get your end piece caught in it. So pull your tail down tight. So it should look like that. Kind of looks like a little heart. Okay. Now we have our loop here, which is going to be our 3rd double crochet. So 1, 2, 3. But we want to change colors. So the next color I'm going to use is this cream color. So I'm just letting this yarn fall back here for the moment. So I'm grabbing it with my pinky, and I'm grabbing that one with my pinky because I like to have tension on it. And we're going to go into the chain loop, yarn over, pull through the loop, pull through the other loop. So we've done a slip stitch, just like that. Okay, so now we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And because these are going to all get clipped and woven in later, I'm going to take both of those tails and I'm going to bring them towards the left so I can work over them for the next 3 stitches, because we are going to work 3 double crochet into this hole. So 1, 2, 3. So when we come back later, we already have our tails partially woven in. So now I can clip the brown one from before, or I can leave it there for now. And we're going to continue to work now. Okay, so we now have our chain and 3 double crochets in the corner. Now we're not doing any chains. It's just the end of the stitch. We're going to go into the next corner space and we're going to work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to chain 1. And in that same hole, we're going to work 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Now, no chains, just the straight stitch. We'll go to the next corner and work 3 more double crochets, and then a chain 1, and then 3 more double crochets. So your chain 1 is only in the corners. That creates your corner. Between your other stitches, you're not doing any chains. Okay, so we're going to do that one more time. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're to the last corner where we started and we have our chain space. So we are going to work into that hole, and we're going to do 2 double crochets. 1, 2. And that chain is our third. So now we're going to just go into that to make our slip stitch, but again, we want to change color. So this time I'm going to orange, and I'm going to hold it in the back like I did last time. I'm going into the space and grabbing the yarn and pulling it through both to make my slip stitch, and then chaining 4. 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to work over both of those tails for those next 3 stitches, and we're going to do 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we're going to start working into the body of our block. So no chain spaces. Again, the only chain spaces will be in your corners. So into this center space, we're going to work 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to the corner and we're going to work 3 double crochet. We're going to chain 1 and work 3 more double crochet. Okay, now we're moving to the center one again, working 3 double crochet. You can see our block emerging. So we're going to continue that back around, and we're going to grab this, do our slip stitch with our next color, and our next color is going to be brown. And you can see in this block there's the next row, which is brown, and then I did 1 more round in the cream. So I'm going to work around, and I'm going to come back to you when I'm working on the cream, and I'm almost done with that round. So you just continue. So your next row, you'll have your 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet in your corners, and then each one of the ones along the straight line will only have 3 in them. And then a 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet in the corner. We are on our last row, our last few stitches. 3 double crochet in each one of these spaces. And then we get to the last space where our chain is, and we're doing 2 double crochet. We are not changing color this time. We are finishing off. So we're going to go ahead and do our slip stitch with the same color. We're going to snip our yarn, and we're going to pull this. We're going to pull this out. So don't do any other sort of knot at the end. You're just going to pull it out. So you can see where that stitch almost comes apart right there. You see that? Okay. So now what we're going to do, we're going to take our needle, and if you've watched my channel for a while, you're going to already know what we're going to do. This is the way I always finish off the ends of my pieces. So we're going to pull this back a little bit so that we make our V lay where it's supposed to. Okay. And then you see this V right here? We're going to go through that V from front to back under both bars. And I just kind of hold it with my thumb because I don't want it to fold over or pull too far. And then the V that our working yarn is coming out of, we're going to go down in that one and we're going to point our needle to the back. So now we have a V and a V and a V. So that's finished off there, and you can't see then where our end is at. So now we'll fold it to the back, and you can hook some of this yarn right here till you get down to the space where our 3 double crochets are looped, and run our yarn through there. Now we're going to go over one, and we're going to come back through all 6 of them. And if you feel like you need more than that, you can do more, or you can just cut it right there. Okay, so now we have all these tails to work with. And we want it to look nice like this. I'm not even sure where I wove in the ends. We're going to take this first one that's a white, and we're going to go over, because now we've already worked over these tails, so we don't have to go back and forth because we've already started that. So we're going to go over one of the white bars, and then we're going to go under all 6. And then we're going to do that same thing down here. Now I'm leaving this one at the moment. I'm working the next one down below that's a brown. And we're going to go over 1 bar of brown and under the remaining 6. Okay, move that one out of our way. We're going to work this orange. We're going to go over a bar and under the remaining 6. Move this one out of our way, and we're onto the cream. We're going over a bar and under the remaining 6. Okay, so we can actually go back and we can snip all those ones off now. Okay, so now we have these ones. Now if I go right back over that bar, you're going to see that little spot of color. So to solve that, we are going to go and pick up one of the loops here of brown. Then go under those other 6. So see, now we don't see any loop. So we're going to do that same thing here with the orange. We'll pick up an orange loop. It doesn't matter exactly which one. You just want to pick up one of those orange loops because that stops your yarn from pulling back through. And then we're going to go back through. And now we're going to do that with the white. Pick up a loop and go back through all 6. And now the brown. Pick up a loop and go back through all 6. backs. Now those tails can be clipped off. So now we just have the one in the center. And you can see there's a hole in the center. So if you worked using the chain 3 method, you might have a hole in the center. There is a way to still be able to tighten that one. But because we use the magic loop, all we have to do is pull on that loop and it tightens it. And then we're going to weave this end in. And the way we weave this end in is actually how you could tighten it if you used the chain 3 method. So we are now going to go back through and under our stitches like this. Now if you use the chain 3 method, go all the way around and then you can pull it tight. And then you can go back and lock it the same way we're about to. So now I'm going to do that like I did before. We're going to go over one and we're going to go back around through a bunch of them. And that's going to secure our tail. And we've worked over our tail at the beginning, so this tail is really nice and secure now. So there is now the back of our square. And we just wove in our ends along this end here. Little tug here, and you don't even see these ends poking out. So they're nice and hidden. So now you have a nice squared off piece. This has not been blocked. You guys just watched me work on it. It has not been blocked. It's nice and square. It's ready to be used. And it's nice on both sides. So it can be on a double-sided thing and it's going to look beautiful. Now when you're doing this, you could work more colors in this, less colors in this. As you will see, I'll show you the two colors in a second. You can flip-flop these colors. So if you're doing a blanket or something and you're only wanting to use these 3 colors, but you want a little bit of difference in it, then maybe your next block you start with the orange and another block you start with the cream and you just alternate your colors. So here's our 2 that are in the same color. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do the 2 color and carry it. Okay, so now if you want to do just 2 colors and you don't want to have to do as much weaving in, then we can carry our yarns. You will see a little line here, but we can conveniently carry our yarns and everything is going to be worked exactly the same way, except for when you come to the corner, you're not going to be working over your end to cover it up. You're going to leave your end hang. And when you come around, we're going to do our 2 double crochet right before that chain. And then we're going to let this yarn come back here. We're going to pick up the one from the row before and we're going to start working right with that. So now this one is going to be left hanging here until we get to the next row. And we're just going to keep working that just as we did with the 3 color. But when we are totally done, the nice thing about this is we will have 2 ends to weave in here and we will have 2 ends to weave in here and that will be it. And your square will be done. And so especially if your back's not going to show, this is going to be just fine. Say you're doing a granny square sweater or something. If you're doing a blanket, you might not want to have that, and that's fine. Just go ahead and weave in your ends like you have before. But otherwise, you can just carry it up just like that. Work your 2 color square. And you'll be good to go. Okay, so now there's our square with the ends all woven in. And I'm going to show you one more square. This square is going to have no granny stitches. It's just going to be straight stitches all the way across, and we're going to work it all in one color. So now we're going to do our solid square, and it's going to start off the same, almost the same as the rest of the squares. We're going to start with our magic loop, or your preferred method of starting, and we're going to chain 4 without splitting our yarn, and turn our loop, and then instead of 3 double crochet, we're going to do 4 double crochet this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 double crochet, then we're going to do our chain, work 4 more double crochet, chain 1, 4 more double crochet, chain 1, and this is going to be our last grouping, so we will be working 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to pull our tail down. Now, since we are only going to work one color this time, we're not going to be changing our yarn at all. We're just going to go ahead and go into our chain space and do our slip stitch to finish off that row. Okay, so we're going to now chain 4. And this time, instead of doing 3 in each corner, we're going to only do 1. So you'll have a total of 2 in each corner, but 1 per side. So we're going to double crochet 1 in that corner space, and then we're going to work in the tops of these stitches. So if you look at this, you're going to see right here, 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 and here is where we're going to work. And if you have trouble with that, you look at the top and you see the V's, and we're going to go into that one, that one, that one, and that one. Okay, now your first one is the kind of trickier one because your double crochet here in the corner partially covers it. So that hole is right there. You have to pay attention. You don't want to miss it. So we're going to work into that there, which is 1. We have 4 stitches, so we'll be doing 4, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to work 1 more stitch in that corner and a chain 1. So now that gives us 6 stitches across here. Okay, now another thing to remember if you start to have trouble remembering where that first stitch is every row you are increasing by 2 stitches. So we have 4 stitches here, and then we increase by 2, which will be 6. So you can count if you want. 1, find that little one, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the last in the space is 6, and chain 1. So you're just going to continue to do this. Otherwise, you're working very similar to what you did before. It's just your stitches are going into a different place. Instead of being 3 in an open space, you're doing them into each of the stitches beforehand with only 1 on either end in your open corner space. I'm at the corner. I'm going to do the 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, and I'm on my last side. So that was my first stitch. This is my second, third, 4, okay, 4. So the fifth one, if you pull on your chain a little bit, you can kind of see where that loop is going around right there. And that's where that next stitch is. So that's stitch number 5. And stitch number 6 is our chain from before. So there's the start of our little square. And you're going to continue like that all the way around till you get to the very last row. Now on this last row, you're still not going to get the exact same stitch count, because when you're working these squares, you're adding 6 stitches each time. And we're only adding 2 stitches. So there's 4 stitches we're not accounting for. So now my square is to the right size I need here, but I want it to the right size here if I'm going to match it up to a square like this. Now, if you're not matching it up to a square like this and you're just working these squares, you do not have to do this step. You work it just like I said you've been doing. But if you want it to match up with a square like that, then we are going to work 2 double crochets in the corner of this last row. And then work our stitches across. Okay, so now we're in the corner stitch. We're going to work our 2 double crochets, and then to make this last one just a little bit pointier, see it's not quite as pointy as our other squares were. To make it a little pointier on this last row, we're going to also do 2 chain stitches and then 2 double crochets. So 2, 2, 2. 2 double crochets, 2 chains, 2 double crochets. Now that's only on this very last row. And we're going to work across and finish this row working 2 double crochets and 2 chains and 2 double crochets in each one of the corners. And we will come back at the very end when we meet up at our initial chain space. So we're at the end. We're going to do our one last double crochet and then 1 in the corner, joining with our chain. And we'll finish that off the same way we have on all the rest of ours. And there is our square. So here are all of our squares all completed. We have our first one with the multicolors, the nice woven ends that you can't see. Our second one with just 2 colors and carrying the yarn. And then our third one that is 1 solid color and does not have the granny stitch. Well, here are our 3 completed squares, and I think they turned out really nice. I hope you guys have enjoyed learning my technique to doing granny squares. And if you have, make sure and click like and subscribe and notify if you'd like to see more. And I hope you guys all have an amazing week, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye.